We want to give a shout out to Steven with We Rock the Spectrum. We Rock the Spectrum is an inclusive sensory-based gym committed to providing a fun, safe, and welcoming environment for children of all ages and abilities. So if you're in town or in the Franklin area, please go check them out. Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Dads. This episode, we have on Jacob Pinkston from Pinky's Micros. We talk about the stress of running your own business, his grandma Ida, and how having a kid has changed him. We hope you enjoy. Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Dads. We're here in a Nashville Restaurant Radio studio. We've got Pinky's Micros. Jacob, right? Yes. All right. Welcome to the podcast. Are we a show or are we a podcast? What is it?
We are both. Is there a way?
We're a podcast show. We can be both.
Show,
it's just, I feel like I was introducing like it's a radio show. But
well, there is a show back here, right?
Yeah, there's a show. Yeah,
that's
if
right.
You pull back the curtain, that's where all the Muppets and everything are. So
welcome
to the show.
Jacob.
Well, appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. I've got a quick question. Pinky's Micro.
Yes.
Where did you get that from?
So a lot of people have asked me that, and I'm like, well, it's my last name, Pinkston.
Oh, okay.
So gotcha.
Yeah, so that's really nice to have that last name tie into the business. But the story of that is it was my nickname in middle school.
Pinky's?
Yeah, or Pinky.
Pinky.
And I was the oldest kid really in school, and I was the tallest kid because I was held back.
Oh, okay.
Probably about one or 2 years.
Okay.
In first grade. But I did my homework. I did great, whatnot. But in middle school, there was a teacher that was a substitute, and he pretty much was like name calling, the whole list of kids that he has because he's a substitute. Yeah. He doesn't know what's going on. But they got to my name, and I didn't raise my hand. I was being like a classic clown because I was known for that. And next thing you know, he skips and is like, okay, I guess not. And then there was like 5 people missing that day, 4 or 5 people. And next thing you know, he's like, all right, going back over it and making sure he didn't skip us if we raise our hands or not. And he got to my name, and he was like, Jacob Pinkston. Jacob Pinkston. And then everybody was giggling because I was like making fun. And then I raised my hand, and he was like, okay, I'm going to call you Pinky. And then everybody laughed. Awesome. And it stuck with me from that moment on. Everybody called me Pinky down the hall. High school, Pinky. College, when I told people that, they're like, okay, well, you're right, Pinky now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just keep that nickname then.
That works.
Do you like it or do you hate it?
I like it.
You like it?
Just because also with the business, it's actually a play on word. My father-in-law, he was like, that's a pretty good play on word. I'm like, oh. I did not know that.
Yeah,
Pinky's small, micro small.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
There we go. It all comes together somehow.
You should find that substitute and be like, do you see what you did? Right. You had a perfect business model.
Yeah, I'd actually try to see if I could find him.
Did you really?
Nowhere. But he was, I guess he said that he was a basketball player and he was tall as can be. So I was like, okay, that's a truthful thing. You're very tall. And I'm like, okay, his name's like Lancaster or something like it. Lancaster.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't find him.
Nothing. Can't find him.
Nope.
That's funny. How'd you start your business? First of all, what is your business or what do you do? What is Pinky's Micros?
Pinky's Micros is in the name. A lot of people will say Micros. What do you do? I'm like, okay, well, I wanted to not be like everybody else and say microgreens. Yeah. So I abbreviate it. It's a lot simpler to write, a lot simpler to print. So microgreens are pretty much the little baby form of mature plants before they become the mature adult that you normally see in the grocery stores, like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, all that kinds of stuff that you see as a mature plant that you're like, okay, I've grown up with this. I know how to use it. I cook with it, so on. But the microform is just the small plant that packs actually 40 times more vital nutrients than the adult plant.
Really?
So you can eat less greens, get your nutrients in, and just feel good because you know that you've gotten your greens in for the day. That container I gave you, that's a 2-ounce container. Yeah. You can eat half of that, similar to like a whole cup of broccoli that you steamed. Cool. and not feel as full as that whole thing of broccoli.
Mm-hmm.
So because you feel full, all that fiber, all that kind of stuff. But with that, you get all your micronutrients in easily.
Nice.
Man, so the grocery stores have been lying to us.
They've
all
been
these
lying
years.
to us our entire.
Yeah. Well, I have like a lot of the generation that grew up in the 70s that would say, "Oh, I remember Sprouts.
Yeah.
I put them on my tuna sandwich as a kid." And I'm like, "Okay, I never did that, but I just ate little leaves and stuff out of the garden. That was it."
I thought like the Sprouts, I thought they were very prone to get like bacteria on them. Is that correct?
So yes.
Okay.
Yes. There was that outbreak of E. coli and all that
Yes.
kind of stuff. So then that's when I think the FDA or the USDA or whoever, the government, came in and was like, yeah, we need to put restrictions on this.
Yeah.
So I think you have to have like a permit, or you have to be, watched how you produce and your facility is clean, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All that fun stuff. And I say that a lot too, blah, blah, blah.
As we'll come to find out.
Oh, yeah. You'll see that.
Good to know.
But yeah, they are prone to mold because of how they are. And if your hands aren't really clean and you're messing with it, and if you do and then you don't wash your hands, they're prone to do that because they're very small and they pack like all of that where they can be prone to mold easily. So they're grown hydroponically pretty much. So everybody knows what hydroponics are, grown in water. But if you don't have a good like system of airflow or anything like that,
Mold loves that.
yeah, mold loves that. And the seeds are like, if they're laying on top of each other, they're creating heat, they're creating no airflow, and then they're just sprouting with mold. A lot of people just rinse that off and like, here you go. Some companies really do like a bleach solution. Yeah. So to be
Giving
organic,
a look.
Yeah. So people say that, oh, organic is great. It's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now we're knowing that, oh, organic. Sure.
It's marketing.
Organic.
It's not a
and you
standard.
pay premium.
Yep.
So it's weird, but if you want to get that USDA approved, that fancy little sticker, you have to pay a fee every year, and then you have to pretty much just like obey by their regulations.
Yeah.
You make a solution, you put bleach on it. It's pretty much bleach.
Okay.
But with microgreens, what's the difference between that? Because a lot of people associate them together. You can grow microgreens hydroponically if you want. There's problems with that. But what we do is grow in soil. So soil is the best thing that we have figured out to eradicate mold or any pathogens or anything like that. Yeah, look at that.
That's pretty cool.
For those of you that are listening, we have a shot of, I guess, inside your shop.
Yes, that is our little facility. It's a commercial space it's 500 square feet. We transformed actually a 2-door garage. So I haven't told anybody about that, but we transformed it. It's not like a lot of people think it's a greenhouse.
Yeah.
But it's actually a 2-door garage that we transformed into like a kind of greenhouse controlled environment.
Sure.
So we have about probably 20 racks right now, just growing probably about 300 trays a week.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
Do you do this as your full-time job, or do you do something else also?
So I do this as my full-time job.
Nice. That's great.
During the holidays, I was like, I need a little part-time job because everybody, holidays, nobody wants to eat greens.
No.
Yeah.
And that's understandable. I didn't. And I live with this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a full-time job now because it's crazy how we've been in business for about 2 years now, and how this year has changed in a way where a lot of people are sourcing local ingredients, local produce. And I've been promoting the business through Instagram, social media, all that fun stuff. And it's helped. And doing farmers markets last year was a big leap. That's when I quit my daytime job.
Nice.
Because I did this for a year before I quit. In May of last year, actually end of April, coming up on a year, I've been not working under the man.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, man, that's a
Thank
big
you.
step too.
Oh, it's huge and scary at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah, no.
Congrats. Way to make this up. That's really fun. It's
Yeah.
a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety, but
Very.
What farmers markets do you go to?
So last year we did 6.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And producing that amount, plus now we've increased with restaurants. So this year is going to be a very, very crazy one. We're at
That's
East
good.
Nashville. Oh, it's great. It's great. But one-man show.
Yeah.
Plus my brother-in-law helping me. It's a lot.
yeah, that is.
But we're at 12 South. East Nashville starts actually this Tuesday. So that's really nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then everything else, all the markets start in May. So a month from now, pretty much. 12 South, and then we'll be at West Haven in Franklin.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah.
A nice view of the lake that they made there.
The man-made lake.
Man-made, yes. And then Bellevue, that's where my hometown is. That's where I actually started. That was my first farmer's market.
Where is their farmers market at?
The Red Caboose. Yeah.
The Red Caboose. Oh,
The park, the
yes.
playground park.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, yep, there you go.
In middle of nowhere. It's just
because when I moved to Nashville, that's where we lived first. Was over in Bellevue.
Yes. Did you like that area?
It was okay,
Yeah.
but I like where I'm at now, which is South Nashville, where I can get to anything within 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, really? That
It's
sounds
great.
nice.
For the most part.
And then Fridays, we're at Hip Donaldson. They moved their location from the 2 mansions to a different one. This is their first year moving it. I believe they've been at the 2 mansions for like 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
But then they moved it this year just because of, I guess, permit issues or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we're at Nolensville. That's where we've really made a big leap. Nolensville Farmers Market. It's like closer to Murfreesboro, but in between Brentwood and Murfreesboro.
Okay.
Yeah.
They've been open, I think, for like 7, 8 years. And the general manager there, Casey, she's awesome. Very, very cool. She's actually has promoted us a lot, and that's where we've built most of our clients is in Nolensville, and that's about 38 minutes away from here.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a drive, but now driving everywhere, doing our subscriptions, doing our like CSA, all that kind of stuff, I'm just driving everywhere. So Nolensville is just a easy drive.
It's fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's very easy.
Nice.
We need to get you hooked up with Chris Chang because he is in the farmers market
Oh, yeah.
hemisphere, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah, circles.
Of just every single farmers market that's in the Nashville area. He's running for city council, but he also
Right.
is.
Is he the hot sauce?
Yes.
Yes.
Have you met him before?
I've seen him,
Okay.
but he looks very animated. Like
Yeah.
he's very cheerful and
Very,
Yep.
very talkative. So
Yes.
I would like to.
Yeah,
meet him.
we just had him on a couple weeks ago, I
Yeah,
guess.
something like that.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
Actually, I heard the podcast.
Oh, you did.
Yes,
Okay.
I've been listening to it since
Yeah.
Yay.
Friday. Yes,
Nice.
I was like, I want to see what I'm getting into.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What chaos is it? What all? Who else? So I know you said you sell to restaurants. So do you do farmers markets, CSAs, and you sell to restaurants?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
So I've built I guess we say we because it just
Because you're representing a company.
Yeah, representing
And to
a
say
company.
I feels a little weird
Yes,
after a while.
Yes,
So
it does. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you're just talking about yourself."
I am, but like,
Well, we as the business.
else Pinky's micros.
Yeah, so we got the little logo and stuff.
You do.
But what was your question?
Oh, hey, what else? So you're like, you sell to restaurants, you do like a CSA, and you do like farmers markets. Like,
Yes,
that's pretty cool. I didn't know that there was that much of a market for like microgreens, basically.
I didn't know either. Like starting the business, I was doing a lot of research and seeing who, because there was a fad going around of like growing your own produce, doing all that kind of thing. And a lot of people associate like with microgreens, and you see that person holding $5,000. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like looking into it. I was like, nobody really specializes in microgreens, like a variety. Like we can grow above 50 plus varieties of microgreens, and there's like over 200 to like almost 300 varieties.
So did you have any experience with microgreens before this, or was this just something that just popped in your head? You saw it on.
bored during the pandemic.
Yeah,
Let's grow some microgreens.
Yeah. Well, during the pandemic, it was 2021 when we started in June of 2021. And I wanted to pretty much to back it up. I was working in a restaurant, worked in the restaurant since I was like 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Went to culinary school, got my culinary degree, been
cool.
a chef to 2 restaurants.
Nice.
And I know the grind of the restaurant world and how stressful it is, how long nights, days,
It
so
consumes
on.
everything.
Everything.
Yep.
Everything. And then I moved here, I worked under RJ Cooper. He was one of the chefs at Kempton Hotel, Henley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was on the 8th floor most of the time doing the banquets as a sous chef. And it was fun, but I remember working 15 days straight.
Oh,
My longest ever hour was like 19 hours straight.
man.
Jeez.
I had some snacks, you work in a
but
restaurant.
still.
Oh, my feet were killing me. We went to the Food and Wine Festival.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and that was fun. Afterwards, we see like all these drinks and whatnot, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a little tipsy because I'm gonna sleep tomorrow all day, and I deserve this. I was like 22 years old. I was getting into that little phase.
Yeah.
I don't drink only special occasions because I try to stay healthy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I gotta
As you get
promote
closer
this.
to your 30s, you do literally. You're like, all right,
I'm feeling it.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah.
But we saw this ice sculpture, and I never taken a shot. And I was like, okay, I'll drink that. And then next thing you know, where the Sunday, I was like, my feet were killing me. I was like, all right, I am done. I am tired. I didn't get home till like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, I woke up at like 4 in the morning to start that day. And
Oh,
then ended.
man.
Yeah, it was a rough day.
Oh.
So they made me have a realization, like, do I want to still pursue this? I went to school. My grandma, Ida, she's not here no more, but she was a sweet soul.
Yeah.
But she was a registered dietitian, and she gardened, like we had a farm and whatnot. And I was growing up on that, and that's why I wanted to go to culinary school, is because my grandma.
Oh.
She could pull out anything out of the cabinets, make these like angel biscuits that look really great. And like you dip them in like milk, let them
Ooh.
yeah, like, and we would like cornbread too.
Yeah.
Just put your cornbread in the glass and then pour milk over it, and it'd just be like a little treat. That's
Interesting.
how the South and poor people
Really?
did.
Yeah.
So we were poor, but we had a good time. We got by with anything.
Of course.
Because she made anything out of anything.
Yeah.
But I went to culinary school, and then I was like, all right, I did all the work, and age 22, I was like done with the restaurants. I was like, I need to find something else that's gonna make me happy. And then I found this warehouse job. I was like, it's gonna pay my bills. It's gonna do things. And then like a year later, the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
I had the weekends off. I was like, cool, I can focus on myself, do things, find girls.
Yeah.
Because I was single at the time. And I was like, okay. And then I met my wife. Actually, the beginning of the pandemic of, what was it, 2020?
2020.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's when I met my wife, January the 13th. Had to think there.
Oh, wow. Right before the pandemic.
Yeah. So we were seeing each other. We saw each other. And then I was like, okay, cool. Working at this job, it's letting me have some freedom. And then I was like, still missing the restaurant, but not missing the restaurant. So I just kept on working. And then her and I conceived our kid.
Yeah.
Awesome.
In, I think, April or something like that. It made me realize, like, I wouldn't have been able to do this if I was still working in the restaurant.
No, you wouldn't have.
No, not at all, because I wouldn't have time for myself. And then fast forward like a year, like couple months later, like January of 2021, our daughter was born, Ava
Awesome.
Pinkston.
Nice.
Yes, yeah. And she pretty much sparked a little like flame in me. I was still working at the warehouse. And I was like, I want to do something for myself. I do miss the restaurant, but I do not want to go back. I'm a family man now.
Yeah, of course.
I have a wife, have a daughter. I want to do something that I can have time for myself, but also have time for my family. And then I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. So I waited like half of that year, and I was like, okay, June hit, and then I saw like a little ad on TikTok or whatever, and like, oh, you can make $5,000 a week.
Doing microgreens.
And I'm like, okay, well, I have a green thumb.
Yeah.
Growing up on like a little farm, I was like, my grandma growing strawberries, everything. So I was like, I'll give this a try. Tried it out, trial and error for sure. You learn as you go. And I was like, okay, I like this. How do I get money?
I can make the product.
Right.
How to sell?
Was your grandma still alive at this time?
No,
or,
she passed away in 2017.
I was going to say, did you ask her for advice? And
yeah, actually not 2017, 2007.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so she passed away when I was young.
Okay.
But learning all that stuff, like you're a kid, you absorb
all of it. Yeah.
everything. So it's like I planted, I digged holes, I put stuff in there, and saw a little seedling come out. You know, all that kind of stuff as a little kid. And I was like, okay, going back, like I thank my grandma a lot for teaching me that kind of stuff because she was mostly in my life. Parents and all that, they were in my life, but they did not really know how to be a parent.
Yep.
Long story short.
Yeah.
But thankfully for her, it allowed me to be able to learn how to cook for myself, how to take care of myself, how to like grow anything or go fishing or anything like that.
Any self-sustaining thing.
Yeah. And a lot of people nowadays don't know how to do that. They rely on the grocery store.
Of course, yeah.
And fast food, and that's understandable. We live in a society where we are fast-paced, very, very quick.
Yep.
But I started the business because I wanted to teach my little one how to be like that. Be able to sustain or be able to provide for herself.
Yeah.
Like I could have just grown this for myself and we would have been fine.
Yeah.
I could have still worked at a job, but I was like, I really don't want to be working for the man.
But you wanted, I think my understanding of the restaurant industry is once you show up for your shift, when you leave, when you go home, how the day flows, you have zero control over.
Oh, yeah.
You have no idea how people are going to respond to your food, how people are going to treat you, or what you're going to be yelled at for that day, or when you go to sleep. Like to go from that environment, which is constant and you're at the mercy of whoever's in the restaurant that day, to like, what if I had my own business?
Yeah.
What if I decided things for myself?
Yep.
There's a lot of risk involved. There's a lot of benefit involved too.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
You can make your own hours.
You can, but then you're also responsible for making your own hours. So
you can make less money.
You can
and work less, or you can put the grind in and go make money.
I think there are people who are like, I worked a big corporate job. What did I do? Paid for my first house. What after that? I quit because I couldn't take it anymore. So like there's a benefit to bigger companies, but it's cool that you looked up and were like, oh man, my trajectory, my inertia is not going to turn into something that I like. I think there's a much better version of myself and for my wife and for my daughter that I can become if I just take this risk.
Right. And so, it was a big risk.
It is.
I racked up quite a few credit cards.
Yeah, of course.
To just get it started. And I was like, it is what it is. It's a risk. I foresee that there's not a lot of Nashville people that know about microgreens, the benefits of it. It's just been one of those things like, oh, that's just like pickings from the garden.
Yeah.
It can be. Yeah. But there's a lot of people like restaurants that are coming here, a lot of outsiders that are moving here. And it's like, it was a big opportunity to grab that and be like not the first. There's quite a few like farmers that grow bigger product.
Yes.
And grow. Oh yeah. That one right there. Yeah.
So that's how you do your soil, huh?
Yes. That's how I do my soil. I put it in a big, like, I think that's like a 60-gallon or bigger. I don't know, 128 maybe. I don't know, but
looks like you're having fun, man.
Oh, it's hilarious. I love it.
We're looking at Pinky's Instagram feed.
Yes.
So that's awesome.
And then that's the most viewed, I think, reel.
Is the making of the compost or of the soil?
So we buy in like big 60-pound bales that are compressed. just because we aren't at that stage of being super sustainable. Like we want to be that way where you have to, if you want to reuse your stuff, like reuse your soil that you have, gotten rid of, you have to let it like bake in the sun. You have to turn it. It's pretty much composting. Yeah. And we want to do that eventually, but we're not there yet. Yeah. We need bigger space for all that. Like we have to have acres and lands. Yeah. And we want to be an urban farm, so we want to expand more and more, but we're not there yet.
Nashville's going to be hard for that with the
Bell's Bend for a while had a bunch of like farm area and everything. Is that still the case?
Who is?
Bell's Bend is like a little bit farther out west. Hey, look into Bell's Bend. There used to be. I used to be friends with a guy who had a farm out in Bell's Bend. Okay. So, hey, look into Bell's Bend.
I look into that. Yeah, networking. Yes.
Networking, trying. But have you? What do you think has gotten more interest for your product? Do you think it's been restaurants, or do you think it's been farmers markets?
It's been mostly farmers markets.
Yeah.
Restaurants have been picking up this year. Like, whenever I found time to be able to sit down, because this is like I've been working 2 years straight. Doing this because they're baby plants. They need water every day. They need to be fed.
Yeah. What's the once they come to like maturation, how quick, like whenever they grow to the level they want to be, how long until you have to throw them away or until they're like done?
So when they become like, they'll become too bitter or anything like that, or overgrown, or they'll start to decay because how much is in a tray because they're not having a good airflow. So you have to harvest it. Like there's some varieties like basil that will take about 3 or 4 weeks to grow. There's some that will take like 6 weeks to grow. There's some that will take like a week. So it's all about knowing that variety. And we do 50 plus, and we've trial and error, and we've found how to do these 50 plus pretty well. So it's a good turnover rate, but there's some, like we have probably about like, let's say 60 trays of basil growing right now. And that's pretty much like for 1 week, we'll harvest about 12 trays. Yeah. And then the next week, the other ones will be ready. So it's like a cycle. It's like a growing cycle. We tell chefs, like, we have to put you on a cycle because some varieties take a while if you want the freshest and localist. And a lot more people, like, I think more restaurants have been, like, seeking us.
Awesome.
There was, like, one chef.
You can name them.
If you want to,
Well, we've got 60 Vine. We got Adele's now.
Oh, nice.
In the Gulch. And then we got Hermitage Hotel. That was actually our first restaurant.
That's great.
So that restaurant we're almost 2 years with them. And
have you been to the Hermitage Hotel?
Oh man, it's been a while.
It is.
I have, sorry, it's been a while. Yes.
Jersey and Dare. I can't. It's a tongue little twister. But they're nice people. There's like a celebrity chef that goes around and opens up restaurants and whatnot. And they actually, I delivered this morning to them. Yeah. Because I do Sundays deliveries. I get up at like 4 or 5 in the morning. Oof. Yeah. Oh, there's some days I get up at 2 or 3.
Yikes. How do you have time for your kid?
Oh, that's the struggle right now.
Yeah, of course.
Trying to sustain, this flow of, income so I can eventually be able to hire somebody.
Yeah, of course.
To do those tasks that take me forever, because sunflower, like doing all the sunflowers, picking out all the seeds and doing that, we do about like 30 trays right now. That's about like 20 pounds a week. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So we're doing great. Yeah. But we grow to hopefully sell. So we want to grow to order. We do that with restaurants, just because we don't want. I've had restaurants when I first started that, we need this, and then next week, no, we don't need it.
Never mind.
I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry, I'm not Creation Garden or Cisco. You can't order right then and there. Yeah. If you want the local localist food. Yeah. But right now, it's mostly the customers, like local customers that's been moving in here, like Nolensville Farmers Market. That's the only one I'm in right now because everything else is closed. Besides next week, we'll be in 2 now, East and Nolensville. But comparing to last year's sales, at every market on Saturday, it was good. And then this year has like tripled. Oh, so that's awesome. It's because a lot more development is happening in Nolensville. And I'm glad I stuck there because when I first started, one day it was rainy.
Yeah.
It was crappy, and I only made $27.
And you're like, I'm out. I didn't even cover gas to get down here.
Yep. And I was like, okay, I need to stick with it. Next week was good,
Yeah.
and the following, and then, okay. That's why I kept on my warehouse job.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense.
That's awesome, man. So seems to be something that's pretty hard to figure out if you're working so hard at this new company to find time for family, man.
Yeah. Like right now, like it's hard. Like my daughter is 2 years old now, and she's learning. She's always saying "dada," "mama," and like she runs up and sees me. She hasn't seen me all day, and she just gives me a big old hug, and it's just, it brightens my day. I'm like, I'm working so hard. I love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But not being able to see my kid, because it is the facility isn't in my backyard. It's a 30-minute drive to Franklin.
Okay.
So it's a drive. So it's pretty much an hour traveling.
Yeah.
Back and forth to home. So seeing her before she goes to bed is nice. There's some days that recently we've been trying to transform the place and get it more prepared for more chefs to come and see it and taste and see what we're doing.
Cool.
To have them come on board.
Sure.
So we can expand more.
Yeah, because of course, if I'm a chef and I'm like, "What do you have?" I'd probably want to know what it actually tastes like. I'm not just going to be like, "Cool, I'll take the sunflowers."
Yeah, see what the process looks like, and get to know you a little bit better. All about relationships, man.
It is. Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I went around a couple of times where I would go to 10 restaurants and only one of them be like, okay, yeah,
I might be interested.
Yeah. And then there was one 60 Vine that took like over a year to even get them because they were going in transitions with chefs and whatnot. And I was like, okay, I'll try it again. Oh, and then we're in Urban Market as well. So that one's in like Franklin, between Brentwood and Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they order like 9 pounds of sunflower a week.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
So it's a like all organic market, and like the chef there, Bobby, he's really cool. He's very down to earth. He's awesome.
That's awesome. I mean, it is cool because I know like the food scene of Nashville has like elevated so much. I moved here like in 2006, and like just how different the food scene is since then is like insane. So that's pretty sweet because hopefully as more chefs come here, they would like, I feel like farm to table is like, if I think of most Nashville restaurants, I think farm to table is kind of like our main go-to format. So that is definitely a market for you to tap into.
Oh,
and that's
it's
awesome.
been great. Yeah. Like with doing that, like I didn't think that, okay, there's a lot of restaurants. I'll go try them out. And then more restaurants have came, and I'm like, okay, hey, I'll reach out to them. And I didn't think that this would be, doing so well.
Yeah.
This year it's been great. It's a lot of work for sure. I know that doing this plus doing starting markets, I'm going to be promoting that, hey, I need seasonal help.
Yep.
Come work with me at the farmers markets or set up for me while I'm doing other things so we can build this and bring on more employees, and
or even just drive and drop off your product. Like if you have to do deliveries for restaurants, like I'm sure that's like an entire morning for you.
Oh, it is. Like Sunday mornings I'm up and it's like 5.5 hours because I'm driving all over Nashville.
Yep.
Like I'm not just saying, hey, I'm only in Nashville, but I'm Nashville and the surrounding areas.
Yep.
So driving from home all the way to Hendersonville is about 30 minutes, and then driving from Hendersonville down to Madison, and then trickles down, and then over to Hip Donaldson.
Yeah.
Then I have to go to Thompson Station.
Oh my gosh,
man.
So I'm all over the place.
And your company's still young enough that like every single place you stop at could lead to more connections.
Yes.
So like you're not in any place in which you can say, I'm not driving to Hendersonville today. You're just like, I have to drive out there today because they want my product. Who knows who will eat it and who will be interested.
Right.
So you're in like full hustle mode right now.
Oh, I've been in hustle mode since I quit my job in May of last year, and I was like, I need to make this work.
Yep.
I do not want to go back. Even though the warehouse, it wasn't hard, but lifting a 300-pound chest up 2 flights of stairs was...
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. Or a 500-pound concrete to somebody's pool, because we would go into $1 million homes and lay down a $40,000 Persian rug, and then you would see that a dog will pee on it right after. And they're like, oh, it's all good. I'm like, okay, all right. You have all this money.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. Tell us about your daughter. What's your daughter like?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, she's fun, giggly, silly. She'll bob her head all over the place, and she'll like be talking or like she's has I think that creative mind where she'll go to the kitchen set that my sister-in-law got for her, and she'll be there, and it's like seeing that, hey, you're messing, you're in the kitchen,
That's so cute.
doing something, and she'll go there, like make some
the
coffee,
yes, that's awesome. Yes.
all that, and
She's grinding her own beans. She's doing it right.
Yes, she's doing it right. She's awesome. Like, I want to get her out more to the farm and be like, get into the soil and plant and play. Because every time I bring sunflower home, like last night I brought some sunflowers home, and she's like, oh, gimme. And she can, kids that age can eat that actually, and it gives them nutrients, very high nutrients. And they're just eating the leaves pretty much. But she's like crunching it in her mouth and then feeding it to my wife. And she's loving and caring, and she's just somebody that you want to be around.
Yeah. Justin, I feel like you've told me before that like you have a garden at your home because your hope is for Ada to get messy, to get dirty, basically.
Yep.
And hopefully you have more mental space this year to be able to do it.
Yeah, because we, in 2020, when we didn't have really much else to do outside of my work and her work, we built some raised gardens in our backyard and kind of in our side yard. Had a great time doing it for 2020. 2021 was still good up until when my wife gave birth.
Oh, yeah.
Then, like, after that, it kind of just fell apart. We didn't have the time to really do anything.
Yep.
We still planted in 2022, but we were rarely out there. Like, everything was just basically
when the
a
newborn
mess.
comes in, you have no time.
You don't. Or if you do, you're not going to be like, I'm going to go outside in the garden for an hour. I know this is the only hour we're awake today and coherent.
Don't
you just
sleep.
have
Just go out there.
no idea until it actually happens.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like, we'll still have our regular
we'll watch TV.
regular life.
We'll finish an episode of television tonight.
You're 20 seconds in. You're like,
basically.
Yep. Yeah, and at 7:00, that's when I'm like, all right, I'm down for the count.
Basically,
yeah. Lately, I've been up super early, and then I get home, and I'm just crashing before my daughter even crashes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wish I could have just stayed up a little bit longer. And I'm just like falling on asleep on the couch, and I'm like waking up. I'm like, oh, my neck.
Yeah.
Yes, right. That was fun.
So you have a garden as well. Yours is a lot bigger than
Well,
ours.
it's because it's my wife's main hobby. So her main hobby is gardening. So last year we did a greenhouse. We have, let's see. We have 2 tiered beds. We have 2 front beds that we normally do just for flowers. We have like a trellis? And then we have like a front garden also that's all like herbs.
Okay.
So we do like a lot of rosemary and thyme and basil. But yeah, I know like that's, man, it's so hard to think of how to sometimes get your kids to go outside and not be like, why am I outside right now?
Right.
So you need purpose. Similar. If you go, hey, Devin, go outside right now, I'd be like, why?
Yeah.
So my kids are the same. So you have to have like an actual purpose for whatever you're doing.
Right.
And gardening really is, Heather's better at it than I am or cares more. But it is a very easy way to be like, hey, let's go plant seeds. She's great at it. She'll be like, all right, in our greenhouse, here's your seeds. Magnolia's my middle child. Holly's my oldest. Be like, all right, Holly, here are your seeds over here. How do they look like they're doing today? Yeah, you bring your kids into it. Yeah. So it's, and also there's so much cool stuff about it. You're literally teaching the kid about how the world works. Like, because the world is built around plants. So it's really sweet.
And there's just a connection of getting your hands dirty and into the soil. There's a connection with
it's like grounding, right? Yeah,
it is. Yeah, just like taking your shoes and socks off and actually feeling the ground in your feet. I don't know. There's just some type of connection about
there's like a whole. It's like
energy
grounding. I think it's called. You literally ground yourself to the earth so that you can be because you're on it.
One with it.
So become one with it for at least a little bit. So.
Yeah, I know that sounds hippie.
It is hippie, but it is also true though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, growing up, I would walk outside and feel rocks. You're pointing your feet and all that stuff, but when you get in the grass, you're like,
oh, this is so much better.
So much better.
And then a spider crawls across your big toe.
Nope.
Did you grow? I mean, you're from the same area that my wife is from. She is barefoot all the time.
Like when I get home, I take my socks off because I cannot deal with socks.
Really?
When I go to sleep, I cannot deal with socks. No.
She is barefoot all the time. No socks unless she has to wear them with shoes.
Yep.
But other than that, she's just been a barefoot girl all of her life.
That's cool.
Like putting your feet in the creek and just feeling the stream and just like a little tadpoles going, like it just feels great.
I think
calming.
I feel like I've done a successful job as a parent if my kids are outside and they're content.
Yeah.
I feel like then you're like, oh, I must have like, cool, whatever vibe is set up, it's good. Let's just keep this going. Because there's so, if I like the version of myself in which I get lost in something. So to see your kid get lost in something also, you're like, oh, cool, good, you can do this.
Yeah,
like
they're not stuck in their phone.
Because you have to feel safe. To get lost in something, you have to feel safe and comfortable with what's going on. So it's like, you're like, if your daughter gets lost playing with sunflower petals, you're like, that's great. You must feel really loved. You must feel really calm because you're just able to freely feed me a sunflower. And here we are. And that's pretty sweet. There's a lot of like innocence to it. So
do you ever bring her to your shop or your facility?
Not recently, just because there's a lot of moving parts right now.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of like, fixing the ceiling, trying to replace that kind of thing.
Some basic maintenance stuff.
Yeah, and I don't want her to, and she's getting into everything.
Yeah, no, she's too. Yeah, my son is 19 months old today.
Oh,
and he's a climber, and he's also learned how to pull out the chairs.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's great. It's real fun. He's like, oh, there's a cookie in the middle of the table. Pulls out chair, climbs on chair in like 3 seconds, and I'm like, sweet. Cool, man. Can't trust you anyone by yourself right now. This is great.
You deserve that cookie.
You earned it, but also please give it back to me. So I'm sure a warehouse where you're like, hey, I'm redoing the ceiling. There's a bunch of power tools over here. Oh, you want to press all these buttons? We're going to go somewhere else.
We don't want to go to the yard.
We don't want we're good. We're good.
But eventually I want to bring her in there more and more because, and eventually I want to move closer to home kind of thing because we're 30 minutes away. No worries. It's a nice little drive.
You can listen to our podcast. That's really what it is.
I've been doing that.
That's right.
And it's been nice. And I'm like, okay, these guys are fun. These are awesome.
We try to be.
But getting her more active in there because how I see kids now, they're in their phones, social media. People are on TikTok that are young. And I'm like, I want to try to avoid that. It's inevitable.
Yep.
Because she's going to probably be sucked into that. But I want her to be like...
TikTok.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a weird reality of whenever we were kids, my day-to-day life wasn't content. And like, if you're a kid now, your day-to-day life is your content.
Yeah.
And like, that's a really weird mode. It's like a weird thing to put on like a 12-year-old. It's like, hey, what you do today is your content and people might love you or hate you for it.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be in your mind at all.
It shouldn't. You should be a kid.
You
should
be a
have
kid.
fun.
Playing basketball and
Picking my nose, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. That was, geez, man, I was never even thinking about like, oh, what do other people think of me?
Yeah, it was like, can I learn how to play guitar today? I don't know. I'll go play basketball and maybe I'll do that later. So
or you have a whole group of people in the commissary area picking on you,
Correct,
and you're learning how to. Okay, well, they're just picking on me for fun.
Yeah, and I think a lot of being human is the ability to make mistakes and then like figure it out because no one's going to be good at it the first time you do it. I'm sure the first microgreen you grew, you're like, cool, I need to make some changes. Like there's some things I need to do differently here. But if you broadcast every detail of it, you're going to have 50 suggestions of what you could do differently.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's I do worry about that for my own kids is like, how do I build up your self-esteem and self-identity enough whenever you're 7, you don't know what your self-identity is and I can't put that on you. But how do I build it up enough around you that whenever you enter into this world, you aren't ripped to shreds because it will rip you to shreds.
Oh, yeah. The world is evil.
It doesn't, it's not there to look out for you a lot of times.
Yeah.
So hopefully you have a family member that does.
Right. And
like your grandma.
Yes, my grandma. She was there all the time.
That's great.
It almost sounds like it's going to just be like a social credit score.
Kind of, yeah, like a
The
cloud
Black
score.
Mirror,
Yeah.
like the Black Mirror. Have you seen
I
those?
haven't
Oh
watched them
man,
because I know I'll just feel sad for how relevant they
dude,
are.
you need to watch them because that, and then also Wall-E is a total just
cartoon, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It's exactly the way our society is going. Like they're stuck on
It's
their
just
phones.
convenience and comfort as much as you can possibly have.
Yep. Well, hey, how did you move here? Like,
Yeah,
why
how'd
did
you
you
get
move here?
So the reason why I moved here, I graduated culinary school. I got my associate degree in that, and where I live, Paducah, you wouldn't even be able to have where I was foo-foo. I love the foo-foo. I love fine dining. I love the beautifulness, and that's, I guess, microgreens. That you got a little,
yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah, no,
garnish
it's
and stuff.
aesthetic. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
very aesthetic. But I moved here because there's more opportunities.
Gotcha. Okay.
I moved here, and before I even moved here, I have a work-driven, like, I guess, ethic. I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Like, I'm workaholic.
Sure.
And before I moved here, I got a job. I was like, I don't care what it is. I would love restaurant, but before I move here, I want to find a good restaurant that I'm going to be able to learn, fine dining, all that kind of stuff. So before I moved here, I was like, I need money first. So FedEx it is. Whatever. Summertime job. And then I went to Erickson Hotel. They were opening up the hotel. And then RJ Cooper, I didn't know who he was, but I saw the pictures and pretty plates. And I was like, sure, why not?
Well, what we usually do to end our sessions are ask 5 questions.
Yeah.
They're really hard, so
really hard.
just make sure that you're ready for them. I'm totally joking.
Yeah, right. But one of the fun things about this podcast is getting to highlight or talk to dads who are doing a ton. And because it's really hard in your day-to-day life to take a step back and reflect on how much work you do. So like you are clearly hustling every single day. And one of the reasons why you're doing it is because you want to create a better life for yourself and for your daughter also. And it's really cool to see that you're able to honestly take like the messaging that your grandma gave you and you're trying to pass it on to your daughter.
Yes.
And that's really sweet. And that's really, thank you for letting us share that story and letting us share that aspect of you, because that's really cool and that's really unique to you. So thank you for doing that.
No worries.
Yes. Anyway, Justin, do you want to ask the first question or do you want me to ask the first question?
I will ask the first question.
Okay, here we go. We're winding the episode down.
All right. What were your kids' backup names, if you had any?
Oh, boy. Well, when
Kind of does make you think a little bit.
it does, like me and my wife, Lauren, she named our kid. She was like, what do you think of this and this? I really like Ava. And I was like, okay, whatever you want. But I do like that too.
Yeah.
And it was like probably like 2 months in when we found out we were going to have a kid. Ava was set.
That's cool.
If it was a girl. And then I think we both knew it was going to be a girl.
You just knew?
We were hoping. Like, I do want a boy, but I was like, I want a daughter.
Yeah, I want our first kid. I wanted a daughter more than a son when we first got pregnant. So,
Are you planning on having any more?
Oh boy, that's came up recently.
That's not one of our last 5 questions.
That's not. I'm just curious.
Curious, yes. I do want another one, but right now, like doing all this work and grind and all that, I'm like, I want to be able. The reason why I started this business was to have a work-life balance.
Yeah.
But right now, when you're a small business and you're trying to make it work, you're working a lot.
You're waking up at 2 a.m.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Harvesting like 20, 30 trays before you have to go deliver them. So,
Well, hopefully you get that help and then you can kind of settle in and have that time.
Yeah. We want another kid. And if it's a boy, maybe it's a girl's name too. But call him or her Nash.
Nash.
Because of Nashville.
There you go.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sweet. Next question. Do you have a favorite TV dad?
TV dad. You know the Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah.
Yes.
That guy.
What's Hal? Is it Hal?
Yes, Hal. He was on Breaking Bad too.
That's right. Yep.
He
Bryan
was a
Cranston,
character. He's funny.
That's a good answer.
Do you still watch Malcolm in the Middle?
I haven't. I thought it was over.
It is.
okay.
But that's one of those where I'm like, does that still stand the test of time? Because I remember loving that as a kid
so.
also.
Yep, me
but I have
too.
no idea if I turn it back on if I'll love it the same way. That's our homework for after
Now
this.
I'm gonna
Now
go
we have
watch
to
it.
find
I'm
Malcolm
sure
in
it's
the
on.
Middle.
watch it.
I'm sure
It's
it's on
on-
like Netflix
it's
or
on
Hulu or
something.
something like that.
Yes.
All right. So almost every single dad that we've talked to has had a TV show or movie that is just they've heard it a million times. They're just like, I'm done with it. I can't stand it anymore. Do you have a least favorite TV show or movie that you can think of?
Well, if you're saying a kid's show,
Kid
Yes,
show. Yeah,
kid
not yours
show.
personally. Like your kid goes to put it on and you're like, oh God, I'm walking out of the room.
Like
yeah,
this again?
Yeah, there's probably quite a few. The Mickey Mouse that I grew up on wasn't as the same as the ones now.
The
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Yes.
Come inside. It's fun inside.
Oh, no.
Also, just so you know, They Might Be Giants did that theme song. They also did the theme song for Malcolm in the Middle. So there's your connection.
Oh, da-da.
Who?
They Might Be Giants. It's like a really quirky 90s band. They did the theme song for both of the shows we just talked about. Anyway, yeah, Mickey's Mouse Clubhouse is painful.
Yeah, that one's painful. And then there's one that it's like the Pugs or something like that.
Oh, Puppy Dog Pals.
Yeah.
Puppy dog.
Yeah. It's just, they're going to say their catchphrase all the time, and then they high five.
Yep.
High five, brother.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm tired of this.
Do you remember, did you ever watch like Half Baked and all those movies?
Yes.
Harlan Williams was a really weird Canadian comedian. He's the one who created Puppy Dog Pals.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so he's like a stoner guy from Canada.
My gosh.
And now he makes
I had no idea.
kids shows. And they have like 6 seasons of it.
Oh,
he's really successful.
He's the guy that
he was in Rocket Man, if you ever saw Rocket Man.
Okay, yeah, the new one.
He's the one that killed the horse in Half Baked, right?
Yes, he also is in Dumb and Dumber. He's the police officer who drinks the beer that's actually pee. That's also him. So he makes kid stuff now.
Get the hell out of here.
He had to get his, young.
You know what?
And then,
he just.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, now you know. Put me on a trivia team.
Yeah.
Is there a toy that your daughter plays with that you actually like to play with her? Like, I feel like some kids' toys they play with by themselves, and other ones you're like, can I do this too? This is kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, I want to get on the trampoline. She's only 2 years old.
No, you're gonna break her.
Oh yeah. I don't want to do that yet. But there's one that I really enjoy is like being active, like with the fruits and the vegetables and stuff. It's like this kit that you can like teach them how to use like cutlery and stuff like that.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And like you cut it in half. She has like a fake knife. I don't know. I should probably baby proof that. But it's like a wood one, and she learns how to cut.
Yeah.
Like these vegetables, and they pull apart. And it's all fake and stuff. It's like Velcroed on.
Yes.
And it's pretty cool. And be like, hey, let me teach you how to do this.
That's cool.
This is what I used to do.
Right? Yeah.
That's awesome. What moment of your kid's life are you most excited to be a part of?
All of it, actually.
Yeah. That's great. That's a good answer.
To be honest. Like being born, when she was born, it's just holding her and like thinking like we made this.
Mm-hmm.
Me, like my wife did all the work.
Yeah.
But having that little kid to grow up, and that you didn't have that best of a childhood, that you're going to do all you can to provide everything you ever imagine for this kid. And now growing up, and she's silly, she's so social. As a kid, I wasn't really that social or allowed to be social.
Yeah.
But being able to see that she is going to grow up really well, and right now it's fun.
That's awesome.
Like we hide under the covers before our wife or my wife before she comes in, and we're like shh, shh, shh. And
that's so
like,
cute. You get to play games now.
Yeah.
Now that she's 2, you play games and you have mischief.
You get to be a kid again.
Yes.
You do to some
That's
extent.
what I love about
It's really cute.
I love it.
What's the best way to follow you? Is it Instagram? How do we find you?
So Instagram is the most seeable and most social platform. pinkiesmicros.com or not, that's the website. You can go to the website too,
which is pinkiesmicros.com.
Yes. We finally got our domain and stuff like that, so you can easily Google us and find us very quick. We do deliver every Sunday. You order Friday at before 10 p.m. We'll see what we have on stock, whatever is available, and then we'll deliver it to you.
Awesome.
But yeah,
you're on Instagram, Facebook,
Twitter?
Facebook,
not Twitter.
Not Twitter. Okay.
There's so many platforms out there.
Yeah, just I'm not gonna actually keep. We do Instagram, and we technically have a Facebook and a Twitter, so we understand.
Barely ever.
Instagram is the way to go now.
It has the most interaction, so it's hard not to do it.
Yep.
But
cool.
Thank you. You do a ton in your day-to-day life, so thank you so much for taking time to come to us and just talk about being a dad and what you're doing. We really appreciate it, man.
I can't wait.
Sweet.
Thanks, Jacob.
Thanks again for listening. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at the Nashville Dads and to subscribe to us on Apple and Spotify podcast. We record at New Light Podcast Studio, and episodes are produced by me, Devin.